It was enormously hard to raise capital initially. You know, the thing with fundraising is it's really two things. It's one, how good are you at raising capital? And that's a skill in that of itself if you're an entrepreneur. And two, how good is what you're selling? What is the business that you're trying to raise capital for? And so when I was 22, 23, 24 years old and trying to get Whoop off the ground, both of those equations were pretty weak. I really didn't know how to fundraise, and I was figuring that out on the fly. And Whoop was a fledgling company. It was really early technology with a big idea. And so that was a hard process of raising that initial $300,000, $400,000. The first $3 million was our seed round. You know, today Whoop has raised over $400 million. And the last $200 million that I raised was easier than the first 400 grand. And I just say that because if you're an entrepreneur listening to this and you're having trouble raising capital, don't be intimidated by the amount of money that other entrepreneurs have raised. It's really about finding that initial story and you yourself developing as an entrepreneur.
If you were launching Whoop today, what would you do differently in that respect?
Well, I do have this feeling of if you go back in time and you change change one thing, everything else might be different. And I'm very proud of where the company is today and how we've been able to grow and expand. So I look back on some of those challenges as being the challenges that I needed to overcome to become who I am today. And so I think it's kind of all part of the journey. And if you're proud of where you are today, you can't really go back in time and change anything.
Okay, well then let me ask it a different way. When you're fundraising now, and you're absolutely right that a lot of our listeners are exactly in that space. We've got a lot of Dubai companies that have grown to the space that they are looking at a seed fundraising round or a Series A. What have you learnt about fundraising along the way that has served you?
There's a few tactics, I think, to raising capital that are important. One is meeting more than one investor. You try to meet a lot of investors at once and create a process. You want there to be scarcity for the opportunity and create competition. That's how you ultimately determine what the value of your business is or what the value of the opportunity is. You want to set a very clear vision for what you're going to do with the capital. And then ultimately you want to have alignment from investors. You know, earlier in the company's history, we had opportunity to raise capital from people who wanted us to do something different with the capital. You know, we were building a consumer brand. Oh no, Will, you should go build a medical brand. And that would have been a different journey early on in the company's history. And so I think it's really important that you raise capital from investors who have an aligned point of view of what you're going to do with it.
One of the things that has helped you along the way has been the fact that you were picked up by professional athletes. And that distinctive band, when people see it, is automatically a Whoop. Talk to me about that.
We've always wanted Whoop to have a distinct point of view and brand. We focused a lot on the design of the product and making it cool and non-invasive and something that's customizable, which you can see in the Whoop MG that I'm wearing today. And we've also been very successful working with pro athletes in the sense that athletes have authentically gotten a lot of value out of using Whoop. It's helped them recover, it's helped them sleep, it's helped them perform better, it's helped them win championships. And so 2 of our first 100 users were people like LeBron James and Michael Phelps, dating back to 2015. And today we have ambassadors like Cristiano Ronaldo and Patrick Mahomes and Arina Sabalenka and Nelly Korda and Michael Phelps, and the list really goes on. And so we're very proud to get to work with these world-class performers. And for the rest of us, a lot of it is demonstrating that health monitoring is aspirational. You can use this technology to be a slightly better version of yourself.
How did you get the tech into the hands, though, of those athletes originally? Was it organic? Was it you?
In the very early days, it was finding people in these athletes' lives who had a big influence on them, but who other people didn't already know. If you go to a famous athlete's agent or coach, they get inundated with requests, and so that's the wrong entry point. Fortunately, we found that the personal trainer in a lot of athletes' lives was a somewhat unknown entity, and yet that personal trainer would spend 8 hours a day with their athlete. And so we initially went to personal trainers of the world's best athletes. We educated them on Whoop. We got them to use Whoop. And then over time, they put Whoop on their athletes. And the rest is history, so to speak.
You mentioned Cristiano Ronaldo. He's not just a man who wears Whoop. He is a man who has invested in Whoop. How did that come about?
Well, we've built a history of working with the world's best athletes, and when they really fall in love with the brand, we do offer, in some unique circumstances, for them to invest in the company. Cristiano was someone who was wearing Whoop for 2 years before I ever met him or we ever spoke, so he just authentically loved the product. And we met in Riyadh at his home. He talked a lot about his data and how he approached training, and I really saw what I thought was another side of Cristiano, which was not just the goal scorer and the athlete, but the sports scientist. And here was a guy who deeply, deeply understood his body and really wanted to measure a lot about it and used Whoop as a tool to be a better version of himself. And so I felt like there was a story to tell that hadn't been told. And I saw someone who I wanted to be partners with. And I think he felt similarly. And so we were able to do a deal together where he became an investor in Whoop and ultimately a global ambassador for the brand.
You said there you invite certain athletes, you offer them the opportunity. Is that the scarcity play again? Would you take someone who wasn't at peak performance, the end of their career, little known?
We're very selective about who we offer to invest in the company. When you raise capital from someone, it's kind of a lifelong marriage, so to speak, and there's no divorce. They're on that cap table for a long time. So you want to really believe in that partnership, and we've been very intentional about it. And so the athletes who are investors in Whoop are the singularly best athletes of their sport, in many cases of all time. I admire the region considerably. I've been really impressed by the culture, which I think is driven from the leadership on down, around innovation, around pace, around growth. If you're an entrepreneur and you come somewhere and everyone's saying, yes, let's do this and let's do it faster, that's energizing. I mean, that's what you want to feel as an entrepreneur. And so I've been coming here now for close to 10 years and I've felt that energy. And whether it's from the Crown Prince or whether it's from just the broader society that wants to push forwards here, this is a place that Whoop wants to grow. And we've seen extraordinary growth here, especially in the last few years. It seems that health and fitness are now, pillars of that vision for UAE. And so we're going to continue to invest here.
Okay, what can you tell me first off about our usage? What has the take-up been like here? How does our usage compare to other markets?
Well, on the positive side, the GCC is one of our fastest growing markets in the world. And because Whoop is a proxy for the degree to which people care about health and fitness, that means that the UAE is one of the leaders in the world for caring about health and fitness. Now, on the flip side, I'll give you one stat that the UAE needs to work on, which is that the UAE ranks third for worst in sleep performance.
You're talking to a breakfast presenter, well?
Well, we have some work to do on the sleep side, but overall,
how bad is worse?
So there's India.
Asking for a friend.
It goes India, Singapore, UAE in terms of the lowest sleep performance. But we do see some positive trends. The activities are going up. We see sports like paddle and cycling increasing here in the region. The Dubai Fitness Challenge has been a huge success. We see enormous engagement for the Dubai Fitness Challenge on Whoop. So there's a lot of green shoots, so to speak.
Can you tell when the fitness challenge is taking place through the Whoop data?
Yes, absolutely. We have a whole fitness challenge that's actually run through the Whoop app. So when the Dubai Fitness Challenge commences, there's a parallel experience through the Whoop app, and you can see how well everyone's doing. And Whoop is a proud sponsor of the Dubai Fitness Challenge.
But you can see that we're moving a lot more. We're doing what the fitness challenge is designed to do.
Absolutely. You see a huge spike in activities and workouts and strain.
Strain. Let's talk about the other thing you just mentioned there, which is that you want to invest a lot more in this region. What could that look like?
Well, we're continuing to broaden our marketing and exposure here. We're working with a number of third-party distributors to make the product more accessible. We're looking at actually opening our own stores and footprint here in the region. We're even opening an office in the GCC. So overall, I would say huge investment in the GCC and especially the UAE.
Talk to me about stores and footprint. Where are you looking and what kind of time frame are we talking?
Well, we've been looking at a variety of different footprints in Dubai, especially Abu Dhabi. We also see growth, mind you, across the GCC. So we're looking at Riyadh, we're looking at Doha, and the good news is there's just enormous demand. I think what's unique about the GCC versus other markets is there's a culture of wanting to go out and buy things. People still want to go to the store, and we view it's important for our business to meet our members where they are. And in some places that might be more direct to consumer or online, and in other places that needs to be physical.
Where will your office be? Your Middle East office, your Gulf office?
We're still exploring a variety of areas, but our first office is going to be in Doha, Qatar.
Talk to me about the partnerships then that you have been signing in Qatar and I understand also in Saudi Arabia.
Well, we're expanding in a variety of ways. We're looking at growth to businesses, so we're working with a variety of new enterprises, and these can be enterprises that help scale Whoop as a health product. This can be Whoop as a tool for employers, so having employees now better understand their health. This can be on the side of sports partnerships and working more closely with different sports brands. This also is individuals. We're working with Cristiano Ronaldo, obviously, who's a well-known footballer, but we're also working with women like Karen Wazin and more. And so we're really looking at a wide range of partnerships in the region.
Does that mean working to get Whoops in institutions rather than individual users, whether that's government departments, even bringing it into hospitals, teams? I don't know, you tell me.
Yeah, overall, we view that the technology has the potential to help institutions as much as it helps individuals. So, for example, in some use cases with a government organization, you may be able to show a summary of a team or show a summary of a squad and be able to demonstrate, okay, this is a group that's getting more sleep or it's run down or it's exercising more, and that in turn can create a better understanding for that organization.
We've been having big chats on the breakfast show that I do about longevity recently. We spoke to a company that's a partner of yours, Shah Wellness, who are launching a big residential but also health clinic program down the road between sort of Dubai and Abu Dhabi, where the two Emirates meet. What has the influx of high net worth individuals, of higher spending consumers into the UAE over the last couple of years meant for your potential customer base and that focus on longevity?
I think overall we've just seen enormous growth to health and wellness broadly. I mean, there's just a huge interest right now in, can I live longer? Can I live better? Can I live a higher quality life? What tools are out there that allow me to do that? And we see that certainly from a high income population, but we see that, I think, generally across the population as well. Now, one sign that perhaps the UAE represents a higher buyer is that we do see enormous accessory sales from this market. So when you buy a Whoop, you can of course accessorize it and have all sorts of different colors and looks and materials. We came out with leather bands recently. And the GCC region at large, and particularly the UAE, are big buyers of our accessories. So there's certainly, I think, a sign that that's pointed to a less price-sensitive member and someone who wants to stylize their Whoop. But again, I think health and wellness as a trend is something we're seeing globally. People really care about their longevity right now, and the new health span metric on Whoop is playing a big role in that.
There's been rumours about an IPO in the market for the last sort of 12 to 14 months. Any plans?
Well, right now we're growing successfully as a private company. We've seen our member base growing 70% year over year for the last 2 years. So we're really seeing extraordinary growth. And we do see a lot of interest, both from private investors and public investors. And an IPO, I would say, is in the future for Whoop. We're building Whoop to be a standalone company. But I don't have a specific timeline for you today.
If I talk to you in 5 years' time, where would you want to be able to tell me you were with it? Metrics-wise, product-wise, personally?
Our goal is to add over 1 billion healthy years to humanity. So what that means is when we look at people's baseline age when they join Whoop versus where it is today, we want to improve that by 1 billion years. across all of our members. And that's an audacious goal. It's going to take a lot of work, but we believe that the technology makes it possible and that behavior change is real and that we as humanity are living through a golden age of potential around longevity. So that's what gets everyone at Whoop excited every morning to go to work and serve our members.